question is, how does the soul that is pure in nature get conditioned in the material world and develop bad dualities? So it's a very beautiful question. So we'll start with our invocation of gratitude. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Yantah Pravesha Mama Vachamimam Prashuttam Sanjivayatya Khila Shakti Dhara Swadhamna Anyamscha Hasta Charana Shravana Tvagadim Pranannamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Okay, so beautiful question.
C'est une très belle question.
And we're going to try and explore the various reasons why we get conditioned in the material world. It is true, Anne, that the soul is always pure.
Anne, il est vrai que l'âme est toujours pure.
Just like gold is always pure. No matter where you place the gold, it will always retain its value. So the soul is similarly always sat, eternal, full of knowledge, all-knowing, and always content and happy. It's called Satchidananda Rupam, the form of eternality, all-knowing, and bliss. So, how does a soul that is pure get conditioned in the material world? And it's very interesting that the soul externally is conditioned. And no matter how much we try to not be conditioned, but because we live in a place of condition, so we are subjected. This body and the mind, our existence becomes subjected to it. And it's very beautiful because it requires us to use our intelligence and our independence to make the right choices,
Pour faire les bons choix.
to uncover the layers, to rediscover our pure eternal self. So I want to tell you a small story. 3 days ago, one of my students in Connecticut, she has been quite strictly following her sadhana and her personal spiritual practices. And then yesterday, which was Ekadasi, very, very auspicious constellation of the stars, she left, her mother left the world. Ever since her mother was diagnosed with cancer, then the cancer spread very fast and no cure. It was just pain medication, pain management. And eventually what happened was a very beautiful transformation in a very short time. And it gave me a lot of resolve within myself that the practice of self-realization actually works. She was holding on to her tulasi neck beads with both hands. She was a devout Christian, and her daughter was a devout bhakti practitioner. Every time the nurses took her hands away from her neck beads, somehow she found the courage to always grab a hold of her neck beads with both hands. Her daughter was sitting next to her and continuously doing the heart space japa meditation for 2.5 days. And then yesterday, Ekadasi day at 4:38, she left the world. So the reason I'm telling you this story is that sometimes, even if you are following whatever path you're following, provided that you are following it properly, then you become the recipient of spiritual love, that the divine arrangements are made so that your journey becomes very, very blissful. You had no struggles, completely peaceful, and she left the world. Most of her life, people didn't know her as other than just a mother to her child. And made me think a little deeper about this question about how we get so conditioned in the material world and how to peel off these layers and layers and layers for us to really, really find our true eternal spiritual self. And I always think of Kamala Devi. As most of you know, the more you practice spiritual life, the more you become dear to my heart and my soul. The more you spiritually advance, you become. I can feel the pulse of your spiritual heart. And every day I have been praying and sending Kamala Devi so much love and so much spiritual support through my prayers. In the material world, when someone gets cancer, it spreads where everyone's life is pulled apart, and everyone is in anxiety. Everyone, all the money gets used in taking care of this person. So it basically saps the energy and the emotions and the finances of everyone. And you look at someone like Kamala Devi, she is continuously giving people more and more and more and more life, who is spiritually evolved. If you want to know what spiritually enlightened beings they look like in character and in behavior, it's hard to gauge just by simply looking at the externals. It is not by how they look, it is not by how they dress, it is simply by the very character of their being, their existence. And Kamala Devi is that person that I have observed for the last several years. And I urge all of you to please surround yourself in the love that she brings to all of our lives through the sheer love and affection and care that she emanates every single day that she is still with us on the planet. It is not time to be sad and mourn. It is a time to celebrate the life and the virtue and her heart of service to others. And this is what makes her extremely attractive to everyone. Saint Francis of Assisi, one of my favorite saints, he was all about community and love and service. And I look at Kamala Devi, that is her life. Yesterday, I was speaking to one of my teachers. His name is Jananivas. He is a British-born person that moved to India about 55 years ago. And he has never left his service in India, fully immersing himself, body, mind, and words in the service. He has hundreds and thousands of people all around the world ready to worship and bow to him and give him anything he wants. He was in Atlanta with me for 3 days, and there's nothing that he wants. He's simply in his old age of 81 years old. He simply is asking everyone, he's asking me, how can I serve you? And we were discussing about Kamala Devi, because I want to understand from his perspective, what is the destination of Kamala Devi in her state of consciousness, where her body is depleting and her body is literally being eaten by millions and millions of invisible insects. And in her voice, you can hear the compassion. In her text messages, you can feel the love. And she speaks no ill of others. She's always thinking of how to bring everyone together. And these are all the qualities that we were discussing, are qualities that are available and accessible and visible to those whose consciousness have been extremely evolved. And so therefore, he was telling me that I will pray for her, but she is already destined to go to the highest spiritual planets, because these qualities that she is exhibiting are qualities that are in the highest realm of the spiritual world. You can very easily know where someone is, where they're going, simply by their characters and their demeanors of how they conduct their life in this world. So while Kamala Devi is still with us, and let us pray that she stays with us, and she continues to inspire us every day that she is on this planet. We should see how we can derive inspiration and example of her life. The qualities that she has been living with and glorifying those qualities of her life. It is explained in the yoga text, when you speak about the good qualities of others, then you become those qualities. You will notice the sages, they have nothing bad to say about anybody in the world, because they only see the good in the world, and therefore their world is perfect. And the detailed attention that she puts into taking care of others, detailed attention, that means she is conscious of each and everyone's individual needs. So respect for individuality. It's an incredible spiritual quality that she has. She doesn't think, okay, everyone is the same. Let me treat Bodwa the way I treat Anne. Let's just put them all together in a big, basket, and let's just have one way of dealing with each one of them. This is how society, one size fits all. But in her world, it is not that. It's very individual. I don't know anyone in this world that were not captured by the love of her heart. Yes, she is an extremely good hunter. She hunts for the beautiful beauty in the hearts of others, and she captures them, and you become connected. Everyone in this world is hunting for something. We want something in our lives, so we are constantly looking for that. And Kamala Devi is constantly looking to see the beautiful spark of love in the hearts of everyone. So I can assure you that I have seen hundreds and hundreds of sages and saints all over the world, and particularly in India. And I have had close encounters with some very close ecstatic souls. And if you look at Kamala Devi, she has those qualities. So I recommend all of you to please take opportunity to share your love and your appreciation for her and let her know what are those qualities that she has inspired you in life. How is it possible that you're attracted to someone, although there is no physical contact, but you're so deeply attached and attracted to their spiritual qualities? And that is strictly because the nature of each and every soul in their bodies is to be attracted to the spiritual qualities of others. So what I was saying is, the nature of someone, the nature of the soul is to always be attracted to the divine qualities of others. Because we have divine. You'll notice the first, your senses, the 5 sensory faculties, one by one, they start to malfunction. The desire to eat will start to diminish, and you'll be able to see a little less. You'll be able to smell a little less. And eventually, the only thing that will be left is your hearing. You'll be able to hear. And this will happen to all of us. But the amazing thing is that Kamala Devi is setting an example for us on how to have amazing spiritual consciousness, even through the process of transmigrating to her next spiritual body. This life is a battle. This body has 33 trillion cells. And this body, beautiful internal ecosystem. As time goes by, one aspect of this ecosystem gets disrupted. And this internal battle in this body of all these bacteria and cells will end with the soul in the body being asked to leave this space. And no one is exempt from it. It is not your battle, it's the battle of the cells, the living beings within this body. So a sage or someone who is with great consciousness, like Kamala Devi, she is simply detached and observing all these battles going on in her body. The cells, certain cells are winning, some are losing, and eventually when the battle is over within the body, then she will have to leave this body to get another beautiful spiritual body. So this is another very beautiful quality that I see in her. Her body is doing its thing, and her mind and consciousness is doing something completely different. And I'm also waiting for her to let me know when I should come, because I want to be there to massage her toes and hold her hands as she moves on to the next part of her spiritual journey. And I also urge all of you to be prepared on short notice when she is leaving, that we all surround her with heart filled with love and joy to celebrate this beautiful journey. It will be the day of our celebration, that one of the members of her family has gone to the spiritual world to create our home for all of us to visit, to come and join her. So now getting back to the other part of the question where Anne is asking how we become conditioned, because we just discussed how to be operating from the space of spiritual consciousness. The material world is made in such a way that it is meant to cover you. The non-stop bombardment of distractions, to the senses through the sense objects. So therefore, we are constantly creating more and more boundaries to our true eternal spiritual self through the external distractions. And so therefore, even though we are transcendental spiritual beings, we become our mind and our senses, they cover the true nature of who we are. The mind continuously, under the influence of the senses and the sense objects, are helping to lay more and more layers and walls around the beautiful self. And as a result, we become so covered and that we are no longer ourselves. We are someone else. And then when we are lost in our true identity, covered by someone else, then that becomes our new identity. I have a friend here in the US who is a very fanatical Barcelona fan. And he is so fanatical about the team, Barcelona and Messi, that everything in his room is Barcelona. His bed sheets, his clothes, his underwears, his t-shirts, his hats, everything is Barcelona. And when he meets us, we call him Mr. Barcelona, and it gives him so much joy. So his identity has completely changed. He doesn't even go by his name. So if you ask him who you are, he will say, my name is Barcelona. Imagine, such a simple thing has created such a deep sense of identity within himself. So this is a simple way of how each and every one of us lose our true spiritual identity, because we identify with other things around us. You'll be surprised to know how you, the most beautiful, clean, pure, eternal spirit soul, are subjected to different identities that is very carefully curated and placed on you. And so therefore, even though, Anne, we are such pure souls, we still get covered because our mind and our senses, they're dominating the narrative of who we are. And so therefore, this rising and raising of our consciousness, it is the true essential process by which we can reconnect with our true eternal self. And you'll be surprised to know that the process is very, very simple. It is so simple that the mind does not like it. It has to be more complicated because the mind has a tendency to make things complex. Simplicity is the natural condition of the heart, of the soul. And complexity is the natural nature of the mind. So in this practice of yoga, we have to always see how to keep things simple. Everything in this world will work out the way it is meant to work out. And we are simply walking on this path and simply passing through. There will come a day when you'll be sitting and watching the clouds move. And you will move with the clouds. And then there will come a time when you'll be the sky and the clouds will move all around and you'll still be steady. And this is what the practice is. To simply understand that you are this eternal, infinite, loving, spiritual person. Then you're not covered by all these layers of identities. So you lose the I in the identity phase, and you'll realize how you're beautifully connected to everything in this world. And as we know, our dear friend, our teacher, Kamala Devi, is going to be the meditation for us every class, because I meditate on her and her qualities every day, and I pray to my deities for her every day. And I request everyone that I know to continuously pray that the qualities that she has, we will be able to imbibe it in our lives. And I'm simply waiting for my call from her. I'll be on the flight the same day, simply to be part of her journey, connect more deeply to her spiritual heart. And this is what spiritual life is all about, connection of the hearts.